Hey, welcome to the Knitting Samurai +1 video podcast. This is episode 89. Socks baby? I'm not sure what the title will be, but it'll be something. It is Friday, May 9th. It is 1 month away from my due date, and it's a cloudy, dreary day here, but we did make it outside, so that's nice. You can see my daffodils. They're blooming away. Makes me so happy. And yeah, so here at Casa de Samurai, it is all about socks. Socks. And being kicked. Lots of kicking. So, first up, on the needles, where to start? Let's start with these. So these are the ones that I talked about last time that were my mom's socks that I started for her, and she wasn't really interested in finishing, and I only had one skein and I needed two to complete the socks. So this is Patton's Croy Sock Effects, and that's how far I've come. So I did stay with the original skein and worked just a 2x2 rib over 6 stitches on both sides, so just to cinch it in a little bit. And I stayed with the first skein till about this general area. And then, oh no, I'm sorry, right here. That's where it switched. And I tried to line it up as best I could, but I was having a heck of a time. So it does get a little bit darker in through that section. But for yarn that was purchased, 3-4 years apart, pretty pleased with how closely they match. And of course I have this much of the second skein that I purchased. There's a big truck driving by. Not sure how many big trucks drive by during this time of day. Hopefully not too many, and I hope you can't hear it. But I am knitting these on US 1.5, 2.5 millimeter needles, and yeah, I actually went gangbusters on this. Once I realized I was getting close to a point with my original skein where I needed to start switching, you know, I weighed it and said, okay, I'm almost to the halfway point. It was like running downhill, so I just couldn't stop knitting. So last Sunday, we watched the Bruins game and then the Kentucky Derby, and I just knit, and turn the heel flap, my favorite part of a sock, and just my traditional heel flap construction here, and then started up the leg. And then I was like, done. The cool part was over, and I didn't want to knit on these anymore, so I haven't touched them since last Sunday. I did make these the correct size for Steve. So one of my intentions for this year was to knit him another pair of socks, and I think these are masculine enough. He looked at them a couple times and was like, I'm like, you'll wear them, right? Yeah. So he's not wild about them. He definitely prefers the patterning gray pair to anything else I could ever knit for him, but I think he'll wear them. I know he will, and because they are the Croy, it'll be a little bit warmer, and I think he'll appreciate that, having the choice between a light fingering weight sock to wear and a heavier, almost sport weight sock. So that is going along. Also, I've been working on the oldest, or for the oldest, Anything Cal with the What You Swatchin' podcast with Emily. So last time I showed you my first sock. I'm not going to put that back. Actually, I don't need this anymore, I don't think. Okay, so here's the first sock. And that's Regia Galaxy Color. And this yarn is circa July 2009 is when I purchased it. And it is color 1559. I am knitting these on US Zeros 2.0 millimeter needles. And I've done a bit. Not as much as I could have, but I've done some. So this is turned into my mindless knitting. And both of these socks are not self-striping. And since I do try to complete a pair of self-striping socks every month, they're kind of back-burnery. They're not so much for me. And I have it in the back of my mind that Stash Dash starts in about 2 weeks. So I'm not in a big hurry. I'll apologize now up front that there aren't going to be a lot of FOs between now and May 23rd, and then I'll have all of these to whip off and be like, woo, look at that nice big chunk of knitting done for the start of Stash Dash. I did Stash Dash the first year, which was, I think, the year Roland was born. Would you like to know why? Because when I got my button, I think I had started, I didn't know what to do with it, and I ended up putting it on the, my bag, the pump, when I went back to work. And since we pretty much all had the same bags at that time, you know, the custom bag that comes with your pump. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I don't want to go into it, but yeah, so I put my Stash Dash button on mine, thinking that that would make it stand out from everyone else's. So I think it was 2011. I'm actually pretty certain. Linus is scratching at the door. He would really like to come out here and talk with us, but we're not going to let him. So they are not outdoor cats. And now a plane is flying by. We are on the runway to the Air Force Base in New Hampshire. So anyway, so I think that was the last, I don't think that was, I successfully completed it that year. I may have attempted it the following year, but with a 1-year-old was not so good. So yeah, so I'm gonna try this year. I know I didn't even try it last year. It was like no go, no. So I'm gonna give it a go this year. The plane's over there. It'd be kind of cool if you could see it though, right? Right? So those socks are on the needles. But sort of back burnery. Like I'll knit on them a little bit. I'm close to starting the gusset increases. Instead of doing the double gusset like the first sock, I'm going to reprimand my cat. Alright, I just popped in the house and closed the curtain to the French door, so he hopefully won't realize he can go behind the curtain and antagonize me while I'm recording. Tricky kitten. Anyways, so the first sock I tried to do a toe up double gusset, and I'm not pleased with that result. So on the second sock, I'm just going to do a single gusset, a single set of gusset increases. Start at the same point, increase the same number of stitches, but my intention is for them to finish the V shape of the gusset increases, to finish at the point where the heel flap starts, so it's this nice outside square. So we'll see if it goes according to the plan in my head. So that's on the needles. And then I cast on another pair of socks because I think I told you I couldn't stand it and I really wanted to knit with this color. So this is Loops and Thread Luxury Sock in the colorway Balloons. And I haven't gotten very far because this is definitely like by the light of the day, pay attention. And of course it's your first self-striping repeat, so you want to, that's the most exciting point in knitting a pair of self-striping socks, if you ask me, because that's the first time you see how the colors are going to lay out. So toe up 2x2 rib, US 0 2.0 millimeter needles, and you can see that's how it's going. I cast on my standard 16 stitches for the toe, no, 12 is my standard. I had done 16 on the Regia pair, and I feel like that toe is a bit too rounded. Like that whole first sock just isn't that comfortable. He went behind the curtain and is now scratching on the glass again. Well, we're just going to pursue it and keep going. Persevere, not pursue, persevere. So, really crazy bright colors, huh? Yeah, I know. I don't know if they're so ugly they're pretty or if they're just pretty. But, so that's on the needles, and that's going to be my self-striping pair for May. So I want to get these done first and then the other two. And hopefully all will be done after the 21st, right? That's the plan. So, it's still on my sock jack. I know. So, I had posted a thread for sharing your most interesting pair of socks that you have knit to date. There were some really great ones out there. I'm not sure who did it, but there was a orange and red and gold colored one, which with beads on it, but that colorway, orange, red, and gold, I've always loved for socks. And so I saw them and I was like, oh, they're beautiful. And but then they were like lacy with beads on top of the lace, and I was like, those are interesting socks. So we had 66 entries, so I used a random number generator, and I did 2 to 67 and number 29 won, and that is Knitwise Nicole. Congratulations, Knitwise Nicole. She knit a pair of blue-purple striping socks with the Vanilla Bean stitch pattern, which is by Emily Locke Grady, that has the slip stitch on each of the stripes. So get in touch with me, Nicole, and tell me if you would like Horse with No Name into the world or What's This into the world. So let me know, send me your shipping address and I'll get those out to you. Sooner is better. So one night this week I received an email. I think a lot of you probably got the same email from Sherry over at the Loopy U, and they are starting Camp Loopy. I have never done Camp Loopy before, but she caught me at like the perfect moment. I was sitting in the recliner upstairs and he was kicking like crazy and I couldn't knit and I couldn't get comfortable, and so it was like, okay, distraction, let me just sit here and read my phone and see what this is about. And so I took the time, I've never done it before, to read through the details, and I was inspired and it sounds like fun. So I decided that I will join in at least on challenge 1. I'd like to do all 3, but we got to be realistic here. So I'm going to join in on the Camp Loopy this year, and searching around, thinking about what I could knit with 400 plus yards, not really wanting it to be a pair of socks, although that was my first thought, and I looked at all the self-striping socks available, sock yarns available, and nothing was really speaking to me. Okay, one of them spoke to me, but I didn't want it to be that for the challenge, because that's not really a challenge, and then I'd end up knitting knee highs, and oh no, on and on and on. And you know, I've been wanting to knit Roland a sweater. I have for the last 3 years knit him a Rhinebeck / Thanksgiving sweater every fall, so he has it to wear for pictures, and he's super cute. At least in my mind, it's super cute. I think in the podcast lead or in the end, he's wearing last year's, which was the Abernathy, and for that I used Barocco Vintage, which did not wear well for him on that sweater. We have had vintage for other things that has worn much better, so I don't know what was up with that. I think I decided the needle, my gauge was off. It's too loose. So anyways, that's not where this story is going. So I've been thinking about knitting him, starting his Thanksgiving sweater for this year, and the Soledad by, what's her name, Annika Baranti. It's a really cute pullover. It's got some simple cable details around the raglan increases and then down the sides. I think it's a free pattern over on Rav. It spoke to me, and so I was looking at DK worsted weight yarns, and I ended up playing it safe and going with Malabrigo Rios, so the one that's multi-plied, not the single ply worsted weight, or maybe it's a DK, but I think it's a worsted weight. I came down to that or Socks That Rock heavyweight, and the Socks That Rock was just, it was going to take 2 skeins, and that was going to make it like a $70, $60-$70 sweater for a little boy that's going to wear it a handful of times because he doesn't really like things around his neck too much. Like, it's a little bit of a fight to get him to wear hand knits. So I opted instead to go with the Rios, like I said, in a blue-black shading color. I'll show you as soon as it comes in, that I really liked. So I'm excited about that. I know I was trying to cold sheep and not buy anything, but it's close enough. I went long enough without buying things. And Steve has absolutely no opinions right now, except do whatever you want and repeating the mantra, you never have to do this again. So he's been really, really super understanding, even more so than he was last time I was pregnant. So it's great. So that's coming. I think you still have time. Yeah, because that was like Wednesday I got that, and I think it goes till the 13th if you want to get in and get 20% off your purchase of Yarny Goodness for the first challenge of Camp Loopy, which is June 1st to the 1st to the 30th. So you can double dip, do Camp Loopy, and count it towards your stash dash. I'm just saying, that's maybe my plan. So that's coming up in the future. But for right now, I am knitting on my Tubularity by Martina Bem. This is knit with lots of Miss Babs Yowza. No, I said that last time too. Yummy, not Yowza. Miss Babs Yummy. So this is Zombie Prom, this is Impatience, and I'm just starting, because I said I would finish the orange, and I did. I'm just starting to work in the Deep Sea Jellyfish, first row, but I finished it. I, in fact, put off recording until I had finished knitting with all the orange. Oh, and this is Jill Draper Splendid Sock, and this one right here, the orange, is Inspiration Dye Works Fluffy Plus. So another plain. Nope, you're not going to see that one. So hopefully the natural lighting is really giving you a good sense of the color on this. And let me just shift. I wanted to magic loop it, but my cable isn't exactly the right length, so it ends up being one of those traveling loops, which can get kind of frustrating. But here's how big it is right now. mandatory put it on, and I feel like I'm getting nervous about the size of it. It feels really, really big to me, and I don't know. Like I said, I'm getting nervous. So I did add a buttonhole right here in between the changing colors. It's not part of the pattern, but other people were recommending more buttonholes than just the one at the end, so I added that one. And you can maybe tell that the purple skein, or that the orange section, is a bit smaller than the others. Not intentional. When I decided to knit this project, I split up my yarn and I put the yardage I needed in one set of cakes and whatever was left over in another set of cakes, and I think I got confused. I think when I pulled out the yarn to work on the orange, I pulled from the what I don't need and not from what I need, which actually, because I am feeling nervous about the length, I'm okay with it doing shorter sections at this point. And I may just even call it quits after the deep sea jellyfish. So the pattern calls for it to be 44 inches. I think she uses size 2s, and I am using size 3s, 3.25 millimeter. And at this point right here at the end of the orange section, I am currently 37 inches long. So I think that this is 7 inches in through here, because last time I was at the start of the orange and I was at 30 inches, and now I'm at 37 and at the end of the orange. So if in fact this is a smaller, what I don't need ball, which I could weigh it and then I would know, but let's just play with it and see what happens. Then that'll be another 7 inches, and that'll make it 44 inches. So yeah, and you know what else I'm thinking about this cowl? When I block it, I'm not going to just wet block it and let it lay. I'm definitely going to go for this, for stretching it into the widthwise, because yes, it does fit over my head right now. I made sure I cast on enough stitches for that, but I'd rather have it wider than longer. So it's going along. I am currently 4 out of 6 sections finished. So the end is in sight after the 23rd. Well, why wouldn't I count all of this massive thing towards my stash dash? Isn't it pretty together, those colors? I love it. And the deep sea jellyfish next to that orange is just going to be amazing. So yeah, I actually had visions of slipping the baby in it. He could use it as a little snuggly, wrappy thing and have all the extra fabric down at the end, right? We'll see if I do that. But I'm that crazy knitter mom. And I did go up a bag size. So I was using my silver shed bag, but it wasn't big enough any longer. Because this green section is starting, it's an MCN base. The others are all superwash, 100% superwash. And this one is starting to look a little fuzzy. So cut down on the friction, put it in a bag that fits, and this bag is bird legs, chevrons. So makes me think of Suburban Stitcher. She likes her chevrons. So there's that. I'm shifting it. And then the last project I'm knitting on, I'm thinking of as my Places cowl. So this is the Denver cowl by Veronica Parsons. I am using Miss Babs Yowza, really, not a slip of the tongue. This is for real, Miss Babs Yowza, because it is a massive skein. I got this at Rhinebeck. It's the Berlin colorway. So lucky to get a skein of this. It's just so gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And I love how it's knitting up. So let me show you. Did a few more rows. Not a lot, but I'm getting there. I'm having fun with it. So that's what's important, right? Instead of being driven by deadlines and whatnot. I love the way the colors are all over the place. This is going to be one of those big infinity cowls. And US size 8s, 5mm needles. What else to tell you about it? It's great. It's like a pattern row, a knit row, a pattern row, a knit row. So I'll do a pattern row and then I'll put it in my bag for knitting at Starbucks when I'm in line, in the car, in the line. It's amazing how much longer they take at Starbucks than at Dunkin'. And I really don't think that there's a difference in the number of people in line. I think that they just don't go as fast. I don't know. Anyways, I've wanted some chai lately. I've been craving hot stuff because I'm hoping you can't hear it. Oh God, if you can, I didn't even acknowledge it. Yeah, I'm on a month now. I feel fine this last week, but my voice is very hoarse, and I am training the intern that's going to cover my work while I'm on maternity leave, and so talking for 2 to 3 hours a day while I train her is just not helping. It's not helping my voice get better. But anyway, so this is just lovely. I'm really enjoying knitting this cowl. So that's on the needles. That's it for my knitting at this point. I do have to confess that I did do a pre-order of yarn. I know, well, for us, I made it like, what was it, the end of February, March, April. I made it 10 weeks without buying yarn. So, you know, I'm pleased with it. So I did a pre-order for Fiber Nymph Dye Works, and I did the Gnome Place Like Home on her bounce base. So that is great. Chocolate brown, a bright red, a blue, a green, and a white self-striping yarn, Fiber Nymph, on an 80/20 merino nylon base. And then I ordered, because I could not resist it, Ice Palace, which is of course related to Frozen, which we watch a lot of the snowman. He's so funny. Song, Men with Forks. Okay, he wants to hear the opening song. Took us like 3 or 4 times of him running around yelling that, and then we realized, oh, that's what he's saying. And he's so cute. The way Roland sings right now is he yells out the like last word in the phrase that's being sung. So stronger than 1, stronger than 10, like it's always the last word. And so he loves the Frozen soundtrack, and he also loves classic, You're So Classic. So the one about I want to kiss you like Prince. So he'll sing Prince, Michael, like he just says the last. It's very cute. Anyways, and Timber. Don't forget Timber. That's very important. I don't know why he likes Timber, but he does. Yeah, so Ice Palace, I opted for the Bedazzle base on this because I just thought, you know, you think about that scene where she's letting it go and building the palace itself, and it should be sparkly. So this is another self-striping, 5% stellina, 75% superwash merino, and then 20% nylon. And this one is a gorgeous teal, purple, I'm going to say white colorway. It's starting to rain. Yeah, it's starting to rain. So with this, I'm going to stop. And I will talk to you in about 10 days or so. Enjoy what's going on with you, and take care. And I'll see you over on the rap boards and Instagram. You can find me over there, Knitting Samurai +1. Or maybe I'm just Knitting Samurai. Yeah, on Instagram. But okay, take care. Bye.